Hello and welcome to Bloomberg Quint. We're here to wrap the markets for you. And it was a positive start to the week. The Nifty held 8,400 for the third day, and you can see that happened after a slower start. There was some pickup in the momentum, and the Nifty ended close to the day's high. But two key trends that were seen today, Agam. One, the Nifty Realty Index saw a good gain of about 1.5%. Two triggers that drove this rally. Mutual funds are now allowed to invest in real estate investment trusts. That really boosted DLF shares. And secondly, reports are suggesting that affordable housing could get infrastructure status in the budget. So two triggers as far as the Nifty realty stocks were concerned. Secondly, PSU banks were also doing well today and lending support to the markets. Again, there were reports which are suggesting that the fund infusion from the finance ministry could exceed the 25,000 crores that was promised for the year under Indra Dhanush. So you saw these two sectors doing really well and supporting the markets, but not a big change as far as turnovers are concerned.
No, absolutely none whatsoever. We're looking at very average turnovers. We saw about 15,000 crores worth of turnovers on the NSE's cash segment. And when it comes to derivatives segment on the National Stock Exchange, we were somewhere around 3.1 lakh shares. But I'm assuming a lot of this was towards the long side when it comes to futures.
Right, Agam. So when it comes to the Nifty open interest, that was up about 3.7%. The Nifty Bank open interest was up about 11%. So some fresh longs that we're seeing, but no big movements.
Right. And when you consider the options market as well, what we're looking at is base formation. So this was around the 8,200 and the 8,300 mark is where we're looking at a lot of build up. And this will also be, your next zone of support which will be provided for the Nifty. So let's take a look at what's happened in the options market today. What we've really seen is that we've seen a lot of writing in the 8,300 and the 8,400 puts, and these are the only two options today where we have seen substantial activity. This brings me to maximum open interest. While that continues to remain in 8,000 put and the 8,400 call, as you can see here, it's a substantial build up in the 8,200 and the 8,300 put, which may provide with that base formation at least in the near term. So that's what we're talking about in general. But do remember, even as we move into some of the key Nifty movers and losers for that matter, we're also keeping an eye on Reliance Industries, and that's going to report numbers. So Somit, tell us, are we expecting GRMs to move up this time?
Yeah, GRMs are going to come up. They are going to rise 9% compared to last quarter. It's going to stand around $11 per barrel. Though it's a 9% rise, the 5 weeks maintenance shutdown and demonetization is likely to have some adverse impact on the earnings. And as far as revenue and net profit is expected, it's a 2% growth. That is what analysts are expecting. Revenues is going to come around 65,700 crore, while the net profit will be around 7,800 crore for this third quarter.
Right.
Okay, so street market participants are also exactly betting on what Somit just said. So that brings us to the poll of the day question. Reliance net profit had beat street expectations for 6 straight quarters. We had asked if this trend would continue for the 7th quarter, which is the December ended quarter. An entire 74% of the participants who polled said yes, 19% said no, and about 7% were unsure. So again, most of the market participants betting on index heavyweight Reliance's outperformance. But having said that, Reliance corrected by about close to 1% today ahead of the earnings. But it was Tata Steel, Adani Ports and Tata Motors which were leading the gainers as far as the Nifty index was concerned. And HDFC Bank among the top banking movers. You also saw BPCL gain a good 1.5% after the petrol and diesel price hike announcement. On the other hand, IT stocks were weighing on the index. HCL Technologies, Infosys amongst the top Nifty losers. But that apart, when it comes to earnings, Agam, Diwan housing numbers were in line with expectations and good.
Yes, they were. We saw about a 35% jump in profitability, and that's the reason why we've seen a jump around 5.5% in the price of its shares. But let's take a closer look at some of the other key gainers as far as the broader markets are concerned. We have Deepak Fertilizers, which is climbing as much as 15.5% today. That's followed by Avanti's Feeds, up as much as 7.3%. We have Manappuram Finance, Diwan Housing, as I mentioned earlier, and Snowman Logistics also gaining substantially. On the losing end, we have some weakness in DB Corp, followed by Hindustan Media. Each of these stocks losing anywhere between 4.5% to 5%. This is followed by Starferro, Triveni Engineering, Turbine, as well as Sanofi India. All of them gaining and losing anywhere between 2 and 2.5%. On the whole, when it comes to the market breadth in the broader markets, that stands at 4 gainers as against 3 losers. But of course, this is all that we have as of now. We are keeping an eye on Reliance Industries' earnings for today. And well, thank you for watching Bloomberg Quint, and we will see you tomorrow.